So next we're going to look at a simulated ice tree, and I have here a polygon disk, and we're going to actually emit particles from this disk. The simplest way to do this is pick the object you want the particles to emit from, and under the simulate menu, go create under the ice, emit particles from selection. After a few seconds, it will actually set up and create an ice tree. I was not at frame 1. Let me just go back to frame 1. And if we refresh our ice tree, we'll see it created a point cloud. You'll see that in the Explorer here. We have our disk and a point cloud. The point cloud is applied an emit from surface node. It got a get disk, got the actual object we wanted to emit from. They got linked into the emitter. And a simulated particle node to make the particles move per frame. We could set this up manually. I'll do that by deleting my point cloud. And I will go here under primitive, and I'll go point cloud empty. So we'll create an empty point cloud. With that selected, and we can see in the Explorer the point cloud is selected, we'll go create simulated ice tree. The big difference here is the standard ice tree is under modeling. The simulated ice tree creates a simulation tab or simulation construction mode, and it puts the ice tree underneath the simulation construction mode. Now we can get an emit. I can get that by typing emit, and we want to emit from surface. There's also emit from position and emit from null, emit from volume. We'll just take the emit from surface, and we'll link this into the port 1 of the ice tree terminal node. It's still red, and it's red because it needs an emitter object. We could either get a get data and find the emitter object, or a much easier way is just go to the Explorer and drag from the Explorer into the ice tree. That's the point cloud. So what we actually want is we want the disk. So just drag and drop the disk in. You can also use a little floating Explorer by just typing F3, and also drag from there as well if you want to. We have a disk now. We just link the disk into the emitter, and now if we hit play, you'll see the particles being emitted but not moving. The reason they're not moving right now is because we haven't actually got any simulate node. So next we need a simulate node, and we get a simulate particle. Drag this one in. We'll link this simulate into the second port of the ice tree. These are values in order, so if first of all it's going to emit the particles, then it will simulate them, but allows them to move. And if we hit play, now we'll see our particles move. The emit node itself has a whole bunch of options. You can emit particles per second, as we see in right now, or a total number of particles that emits them all in one go. And this is great if you're creating, say, a crowd system, or a system when you want the particles just to be affected by forces alone. There's rate, seed, there's mass, and size. Size is only affected if you actually change your particles to a different type or when rendering particles. There's the orientation of the particles. There's a state we can talk about later on. And there's also emit from location normal or direction vector. This is the normal of the object, and direction vector means I can type in my own direction, so I want them to come out along the x-axis. We can just change these numbers around, hit play, and now the particles go sideways. You can do more than one. You can also change these, so if you want them to go down instead of up, -1, and now the particles will actually go down instead of up. We'll set this back to 1 here. Close this down. And of course, last of all, you see at the bottom here, speed. And just hit play and make sure everything is back to normal before we go to the next step. Great.